Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Go Native Farms. And today we're going to be talking about this amazing Jicarilla Apache white corn, which was basically extinct in production. And the only place it was still around was in the Native Seed Search seed bank in their vaults, where they keep them very cool. And we're going to talk a lot about this corn and how it ended up on my table and how I was able to grow this out in 2024. So in the upcoming video, we're going to be giving a lot of thanks to the people who helped preserve this corn along the way, because it was almost lost to time and history. Now, I was able to grow this in 2024 and I produced over 65 pounds. A lot of that is at the Native Seed Search seed bank, and you guys can obtain this corn that was once extinct in production if you follow the links below in the descriptions below, and I'll put that down for you. We're also going to be taking a lot of this corn out to the Jicarilla Apache Nation, and we're going to be handing it out to the Jicarilla Apache people. I've actually started doing that already. If you are a Jicarilla Apache and you contact me at gonativefarms@proton.me, I'll go ahead and get you some of this, because I do work out there at that reservation, and we'll get you some of this corn as long as the supplies last. And we're also going to be taking some of these perfect corns, and we're going to be giving some of these to the Zuni people, because they use those in their ceremonies and they're very sacred to them. So if you happen to grow old Native American corn and you know some Pueblo people, ask them if they would like the perfect ones that go all the way to the end, and they will most likely be very grateful. All right, we have a nice video coming up showing you guys how I grew this corn out in the field and talking a little bit more about the people to thank for it. So thank you guys for tuning in, and hold tight. So what do we have here today? Today we're looking at a garden of corn that has been lost to history. It is pretty much extinct to the knowledge of the people at Native Seed Search, and to my knowledge as well, other than right here. And luckily we have 3 rows of it, which produced very well this year. And I'd like to go ahead and show you what this corn looks like. And let's take a look. All right, so over here by our little chicken, we have some beautiful Jicarilla Apache corn. And if you look at that corn, it is a beautiful pearl white, and it is very tasty. And I plan to go ahead and make this into a lot of different dishes, like soups and cornbread and all sorts of things. So let's take a look at how it produced this year. If you can see, there are corn cobs everywhere. It did very well, and I was very lucky to be able to grow this corn out for the Native Seed Search. And we're also going to be distributing this corn back to the Jicarilla people in Dulce, New Mexico. And this corn's also most likely going to be available at the Native Seed Search, and I'll put that link in the descriptions below. So there's kind of a long history about how this corn ended up in my garden, and I'd like to thank a lot of people who were responsible for the corn making it to my garden and not being lost to time and history. And we'll do another episode on why a lot of the Native American tribes no longer have those old seeds. We'll do an episode on that in the future. But for today, we're just gonna take a look at this old corn and talk about that and thank the people responsible for having it. So one of the neat things about this corn is where the tassels grow, it will occasionally put out a lot of corn. And that's not normally how corn grows in this day and age. And I think we probably grew it, I think farmers grew it where it would grow more at the bottom, like you can see these. And that helps kind of to keep the birds off of it, because the birds did get on some of the stuff that grows more at the top. As you can see, this corn is falling down a little bit, which is a sign that it's definitely ready to be picked for seed. And if you're going to eat it not as seed, but you want it to be like a sweet corn, then you would have to pick it before it starts to fall down and get more starchy. So that is the 3 rows we have. It's about 125 feet of corn. Let's see if you can see what that looks like down there. And we do have other corn, which we'll talk about in other videos. But this corn today, we're going to go over the history and thank the people responsible for it being here and being able to be used and even obtained through the native seed search in the future. So to start with, we of course have to thank the Jicarilla Apache people who grew this corn originally, and then we should also thank a lady by the name of Stacy Devon, because she's the one that originally collected this corn in 1988 or earlier, and she gave it to some people in La Puebla, New Mexico to grow it out for the Talavea Seed Company in that year of 1988. Unfortunately, the people that grew it out, they never reconnected with the Talavea Seed Company until they were about ready to plow it under. But they did give them a call, and at the last minute, the people from Talavea did come out and get it, and they saved this corn. The lady that came out was named Julie Fouche, and she got the corn, but she wasn't really aware of how rare it was. So she started to make it into decorations. She was kind of using a lot of it up, but that's where the native seed search came into play. There was a gentleman by the name of Brett Baker who worked for that company for a very long time, and he collected seeds for them from 1992 to 2000. He was also an organic certifier in New Mexico. He was the one that ended up getting the seeds, and then he realized the importance of it, so he kept it and put it into the seed bank at Native Seed Search. And Brett also gave the seed to a lady by the name of Sylvia Vergara Carr of Dixon, New Mexico, and she also worked at the Talavea Seed Company. So she grew this corn out in 1989, and that's where this variety of corn comes from, is that some of it came from that grow out, and some of it came from a different grow out that the Native Seed Search did in 2002. So after that grow out in 1989, Brett did grow some more for the Native Seed Search in Albuquerque in 92. And then that is, and as I mentioned, the other year they grew it out was in 2002. So they ended up giving me this seed in 2024 because I've been working for them to do some grow outs, and here it is today. It did pretty well. So we'll kind of take another quick look at this while we wrap things up. And I probably should add that this corn was grown at high elevation. So in Jicarilla, that's going to be around 7,000 feet, give or take. And that's why it had to be a corn that was developed to grow quick. So this develops in about 75 to 80 days. And very fast growing corn, which is good for a lot of people in cold regions. And the corn's not terribly tall. It's about 5 foot, maybe. Actually, in some areas we're actually looking at about 3'5" up to 5'9" at the tallest, for the most part. But that is the history of this corn, and we have a bunch of it here. We're going to harvest this today, and then it will end up going to the Native Seed Search, who will most likely put this up for sale on their webpage in 2025, and you guys could go there and check it out. I'll put a link below to their webpage. And they also, at Native Seed Search, have a lot of other old heritage Native American and Mexican varieties of corn, beans, squash, sunflower seeds, all sorts of stuff. So you should check those guys out. And I would also like to add that I do grow this out for them, and they have first opportunity at whatever I grow here, and if they don't like it, then I get to keep some. So it's possible I'll have some as well if they don't need all of it. They're going to replenish their seed bank, and then if the germination rate is good, they may decide to buy it all or do whatever they choose to do with it. And we're certainly going to take some of this back to the Jicarilla Apache Nation, and we're going to be handing this out. I do work out there, so we're going to be giving some to our patients in the community. So that is a little bit about this corn. Hopefully you enjoyed this episode, and please like and subscribe. That way I can talk to you guys some more about the other old heritage varieties that we happen to be growing out here as well. So we have all sorts of stuff out here. Everything from Navajo and Apache melons and squash to a bunch of different corn varieties. Not a bunch. This year we have 3 in total. And we'll probably call it a wrap. Thank you very much for tuning in, and remember to grow and preserve these old heritage varieties and to eat them and stay healthy. And we're just going to take a quick look at all the corn we harvested today. We have 2 big, I guess you're going to call them bushels or whatever, and they are about 50 pounds each, and there's still corn out there. So we had a pretty good harvest, and we'll take a quick look at what that's looking like. Good looking corn. All right, so that is the first harvest, and I'll let you guys know what the total weight was on another day. So this pyramid of white corn over here is a very rare corn that was actually extinct. It is a Jicarilla Apache white corn, and it was only in the seed bank of Native Seed Search, and it's a very beautiful corn. We grew about 65 pounds of it or more last year, and it's going to be at the Native Seed Search, and a lot of it's going to be going back to the Jicarilla Apache Reservation. Thank you for tuning in. Please do like and subscribe so my channel grow and I can continue to make farming and healthy food videos as well. All right, take care. Thanks for tuning in. Have a great day.